You sit down at a blackjack table at the Bellagio, or maybe it's the Aria or Caesar's Palace. You throw down $100 chip. The dealer pitches the cards. You get a king, then an ace. Blackjack. It's the best feeling in the casino. In the Vegas you remember, the Vegas of movies and legends, the dealer would slide you $150, 3-2. But today, the dealer slides you 120. You pause. You look at the felt, and right there, in small print that you ignored when you sat down, it says, Blackjack pays 6-5. You just lost $30. You didn't lose it because you played bad cards. You didn't lose it because of bad luck. You lost it because the game you are playing is mathematically rigged to drain your wallet 4 times faster than it did 10 years ago. This isn't an accident, and it's not inflation. In MGM Resorts' recent earnings calls, the executives cheered about record EBITDA and strip margin expansion. They tell Wall Street that Vegas is back. But if you look closely at the numbers, and if you listen to what the CEOs are actually saying to investors behind closed doors, a different reality emerges. They aren't making more money because they are offering a better product. They are making more money because they have fundamentally broken the game of blackjack to systematically extract wealth from the middle-class tourist. I've spent the last 3 months digging through gaming commission reports, quarterly earnings transcripts, and interviewing former floor supervisors who have watched this transition happen in real time. What I found is that the 6-5 payout isn't just a bad rule. It is the cornerstone of a corporate strategy designed to eliminate the smart gambler and replace them with a blindly profitable consumer. They know you won't do the math. They are banking on it. Today, we are going to expose exactly how they did it, who is responsible, and why the Las Vegas you think you know is gone. Part 1, the official story. If you watch the commercials or if you listen to the press releases from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the narrative is clear. Vegas is booming. Post-pandemic, the city has reinvented itself. We have Formula One, we have the Super Bowl, we have the Sphere. The average daily room rate on the Las Vegas Strip has skyrocketed, hitting record highs. In their public-facing statements, companies like MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment paint a picture of a luxury destination that has evolved beyond just gambling. In a recent interview, MGM CEO Bill Hornbuckle talked about the resiliency of the consumer. They tout their premium mass segment. This is the corporate buzzword they use to describe you. They say they are focusing on experience. They tell us that people don't just come to gamble anymore. They come for the food, the shows, the clubs. And because the experience is so high quality, they justify raising prices across the board. It sounds logical, right? Costs go up, prices go up. That's basic economics. But there is a crack in this facade, a massive one. While revenue is up, actual gaming volume in many sectors has been flat or concerning. They are making more money from fewer people. How is that possible? If fewer people are gambling, or if people are gambling less money, how do profits hit record highs? The answer lies in a metric called hold percentage. The hold is the percentage of money the casino keeps from the drop, the money you buy in with. Historically, the hold was determined by math and luck. But in the modern corporate casino, the hold is engineered. They realized they couldn't control your luck, but they could control the math. They stopped trying to win your money and simply started taking it. The public story is that they are offering a premium luxury experience. The reality is that they are financing that luxury by structurally altering the fairness of the games on the floor. They are telling you Vegas is back, but they are whispering to shareholders that margins are up, and there is a very big difference. Part 2, the mathematics of theft. To understand the magnitude of this scam, we have to do a little bit of math. I know you didn't come here for a lecture, but this is the part they rely on you not understanding. In a standard game of blackjack, a natural, an ace, and a 10 value card historically pays 3-2. If you bet $10, you win $15. The house edge in a standard 3-2 game, assuming you play perfect basic strategy, is roughly 0.5%. That means for every $100 you bet over time, you can expect to lose about 50 cents. That is the price of entertainment. It's a fair game. It allows you to play for hours, have some drinks, maybe hit a lucky streak, and win big. Now, look at 6 to 5. If you bet $10, you win $12. You are losing $3 on every single blackjack. That doesn't sound like much until you realize how often blackjack happens. It happens about once every 21 hands. Over an hour of play, that missing $3 adds up. But here's the kicker. Changing the payout from 3 to 2 down to 6 to 5 increases the house edge by roughly 1.4% to nearly 2%. That sounds small. It isn't. That is a 400% increase in the cost of playing. Imagine if you went to a movie theater and the ticket price suddenly jumped from $15 to $60, but the movie was the same. You would riot. But because this price hike is hidden in the payout math of a card game, nobody riots. They just run out of money faster. I looked at the data from the Nevada Gaming Control Board. In the last 10 years, the number of blackjack tables on the Strip has actually decreased, yet the win amount for the casinos has remained robust. Why? Because 6 to 5 blackjack destroys your bankroll. In a 3 to 2 game, $500 might last you 4 hours. In a 6 to 5 game, that same $500, playing the same strategy, might be gone in 45 minutes. This isn't gambling anymore. Gambling implies a fair contest between risk and reward. When the house edge jumps to 2% or 2.5%, you are no longer playing a game. You are feeding a slot machine that uses playing cards as a user interface. And the most insulting part? They often enforce this rule on the low limit tables, the $15, $25, even $50 tables. They are specifically targeting the players who can least afford the hit. The whales in the high limit room, they are still getting 3 to 2. The rules are different for the rich, but for the average tourist, the math has been weaponized against you. Part 3, the duopoly strategy. So how did we get here? How did an entire industry decide to simultaneously degrade their core product without fearing that customers would just go next door? The answer is simple. There is no next door anymore. 20 years ago, the Las Vegas Strip was a collection of fiercely competitive independent operators or smaller chains. If the Stardust offered bad odds, you could walk to the Riviera. If the Sands tried to cheat you, you went to the Dunes. Competition kept the game honest. Today, if you stand in the middle of the Strip, almost everything you see is owned by two companies, MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment. This is a duopoly. MGM owns Bellagio, Aria, Vdara, MGM Grand, Mandalay Bay, Luxor, Excalibur, New York, Park MGM, and the Cosmopolitan. Caesars owns Caesars Palace, Harrah's Horseshoe, Paris, Planet Hollywood, the Cromwell, the Link, and the Flamingo. When two companies control the vast majority of the market, they don't have to compete on value. They stop competing for your business and start coordinating indirectly on how much they can squeeze you. This is why 6 to 5 spread like a virus. Once one property proved that tourists were too unsophisticated to notice the difference, every other property adopted it. I dug into the investor presentations for both companies. They use terms like yield management. This is a concept borrowed from the airline industry. You know how an airline seat costs more when demand is high? Casinos are now doing that with blackjack tables. They view a seat at a blackjack table not as a game, but as real estate. If the demand is high on a Saturday night, they don't just raise the minimum bet. That's normal. They degrade the quality of the product. They switch the tables to 6 to 5. This is a fundamental shift in philosophy. The old Vegas model was get them in the door with cheap gambling and cheap food, and the volume will make us rich. The new model, the duopoly model, is maximize the revenue per square foot of every gaming position. They don't care if you have a bad time and lose your money in 20 minutes because there is another tourist right behind you to take the seat. They have crunched the numbers. They know that the churn, burning through players quickly, is more profitable than keeping a player at the table for 4 hours. But here's where it gets interesting. I spoke to a former casino shift manager, let's call him Mark, who worked on the strip for 15 years. He told me that the implementation of 6 to 5 was a calculated test. He said, "We watched the drop, we watched the complaints, and the terrifying thing was almost nobody complained. The old school gamblers yelled, but the new crowd, the guys coming in for the club or the bachelor party, they didn't even know what 3 to 2 meant. Once corporate saw that, the war was over. 3 to 2 was dead for the masses." Part 4, the sucker economy. Once the casinos realized that the average tourist wouldn't revolt over 6 to 5 blackjack, the floodgates opened. This philosophy of math blind extraction has infected every inch of the gaming floor. 6 to 5 blackjack was just the canary in the coal mine. Walk over to the roulette wheel. For decades, American roulette had two zeros, 0 and 00. The house edge is 5.26%. It's a steep hill to climb, but people love the game. Now, walk the strip today. You will see 000 roulette. They added a third green slot, usually marked with a 000 or a casino logo. This single extra pocket pushes the house edge to 7.69%. That is worse than almost any slot machine. It is one of the worst bets you can legally make in a casino. And yet, you will see these tables packed on a Friday night at the Venetian or the Flamingo, often with higher minimums than the 00 wheels off strip. Why? Because they know you aren't looking at the wheel, you're looking at the vibe. It goes deeper. I looked at the slot hold percentages reported to the state. Penny slots, the most popular game on the floor, have seen their hold percentages creep up steadily. The tightness of the machines is being dialed up, and it's not just the games, it's the service. Have you noticed the lights on the back of the video poker machines at the bar? That is a monitoring system. In the old days, you put 20 bucks in, played slowly, and the bartender gave you a beer. Now a computer tracks your coin-in rate. If you don't bet enough money fast enough, the light turns red, and the bartender is strictly forbidden from giving you a comped drink. They have automated the hospitality. They have turned the bartender into a toll collector. This creates what I call the sucker economy. The entire floor is designed to identify and exploit the uneducated gambler. If you know the math, you are the enemy. If you are a card counter, they back you off. If you are a smart player looking for 3 to 2, you are forced into the high limit room where minimums are $100 or $200 a hand. The main floor is now a trap. It is a tax on ignorance. And there is a human cost to this, one that doesn't show up in the earnings reports. I scoured employee forums and spoke to current dealers. They hate 6 to 5. Why? Because players lose too fast. A dealer relies on tips, tokes. Players tip when they are winning, or at least when they are staying alive and having fun. When a player buys in for $200 and loses it in 6 hands because of the 6 to 5 grind, they leave angry. They don't tip. One dealer told me, "It's miserable. I'm just taking their money and apologizing. The vibe at the table is dead. It feels like working at a slaughterhouse instead of a party." The casinos are burning out their own staff to squeeze a few extra percentage points of hold out of the customers. Part 5, the cover-up. So why haven't you heard about this on the news? Why isn't this a bigger scandal? Because the casinos are masters of distraction. They have successfully pivoted the narrative of Las Vegas from gambling capital to entertainment capital. They spend millions promoting the residencies. Adele, U2, Bruno Mars. They promote the celebrity chefs, Gordon Ramsay, Guy Fieri. They dazzle you with the fountains and the volcanoes and the massive LED screens. This is a classic magician's trick, misdirection. While you are looking at the shiny sphere, they are picking your pocket at the blackjack table. They frame 6 to 5 blackjack as providing accessibility. They claim that by offering these tables, they can keep minimum bets lower for beginners. This is a lie. You will frequently find 6 to 5 tables with $25 or even $50 minimums on busy weekends. It has nothing to do with accessibility. It has everything to do with profitability. They also rely on the whale defense. Whenever this is brought up, industry apologists will say real gamblers play in the high limit room. The main floor is for tourists. Think about how arrogant that is. They are admitting that they have a two-tiered system. If you are wealthy enough to bet $100 a hand, you deserve a fair game. If you are a middle-class teacher or truck driver saving up for a yearly vacation, you deserve to be scammed. They are effectively imposing a poverty tax on the gaming floor, and the financial media plays along. I watched hours of CNBC and Bloomberg interviews with Vegas CEOs. The anchors ask about room rates. They ask about convention bookings. They ask about the Formula One impact. They almost never ask about the degradation of the gambling product. Why? Because as long as the stock price goes up, Wall Street doesn't care if the product is defective. But here is the part they really don't want you to know. The documents show that they are terrified of you finding out. In their risk factors, they list perception of value as a threat. They know that if the general public realizes that Vegas has become a rig, the house of cards collapses. They need you to believe that you can still win. Part 6. What happens next? If we follow this trend line, the future of Las Vegas is bleak for the player. We are already seeing the next phase, the elimination of the dealer entirely. Walk into the Venetian or MGM Grand today and look for the stadium gaming sections. These are rows of terminals connected to a single dealer or a digital avatar. This allows them to lower labor costs to almost zero. But more importantly, it allows them to adjust the rules dynamically. I predict that within 5 years, the traditional $15 or $25 blackjack table with a human dealer will be extinct on the Strip. The only live tables will be in high limit. Everything else will be electronic. And once it's electronic, the odds can get even worse. We are already seeing even money blackjack on some electronic machines, where a blackjack pays 1-to-1. That is a 2.8% house edge. That is highway robbery. They are pushing toward a cashless, dealerless floor where the extraction is algorithmic. They want to turn the casino into a mobile game, flashy graphics, constant dopamine hits, and a mathematical certainty that you will reach zero. The point of no return is approaching. The Vegas vibe, that electric energy of a hot craps table or a winning blackjack shoe, is being suffocated by spreadsheets. They are trading the soul of the city for quarterly EBITDA growth. They are betting that there is an infinite supply of suckers who will come for the Instagram photo and leave their money behind without asking questions. The confrontation. So here is the reality. Vegas isn't back. Vegas has been captured. It has been captured by a corporate duopoly that views its customers not as guests, but as yield-producing units. MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment. I am speaking directly to you now. You are burning the bridge that brought you here. You were built on the idea that a person could come to the desert with a few dollars and a dream and get a fair shake. You have replaced that dream with a calculation. You are trading your legacy for short-term profits. You might be making record numbers now, but you are creating a generation of gamblers who are learning that playing in Vegas simply isn't fun anymore because losing instantly isn't fun. And to you, the viewer, the next time you walk into a casino, look at the felt, read the fine print. If it says blackjack pays 6-5, do not sit down. Do not put your money on the table. Turn around and walk away. Go to downtown Vegas. Go to the off-strip casinos that still offer 3-2. Or better yet, don't play at all. The only language these corporations speak is money. As long as those 6-5 tables are full, they will keep tightening the screws. They will keep adding zeros to the roulette wheel. They will keep tightening the slots. We have to vote with our wallets. Stop rewarding them for ripping you off. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed the change? Have you sat at a table and realized too late that you were playing a rigged game? Or are you a dealer who is sick of watching customers get fleeced? Let me know in the comments below. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even talked about the resort fees, the parking fees, or the real estate investment trusts that actually own the land under the casinos. That is a whole other scam. Subscribe, because next week we are going to expose the truth about who really owns the Las Vegas Strip and why they want you to pay for parking at a place where you're already spending thousands. Vegas might be betting against you, but now you know the odds. See you next week.